Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Podcasters, your safe space for learning easy English through real stories and heart-to-heart conversations. I'm Maya. Wherever you're listening from right now, maybe you're cooking in your kitchen or riding home after a long, busy day, take a small moment and breathe. By pressing play, you've already done something important for your English journey. Every time you listen, even quietly, you're building your confidence and moving one step closer to speaking naturally.
Hi everyone, I'm Leo, and I am so happy to be here talking and learning with you today. Maya, I have to be honest with you. This morning, I faced a very difficult situation. I was at a cafe, and the person behind the counter asked me a very simple question. Do you want a croissant or a muffin?
Oh, that sounds like a delicious problem to have, Leo.
It should have been. But my brain completely froze. I knew I didn't want the croissant, and I knew I didn't want the muffin, but I didn't know how to say that politely in English. I just stood there in silence, while the line behind me got longer and longer. The silence felt so heavy.
Oh, Leo, that frozen moment, or that quiet pain, is something almost every learner faces in real life. You study so hard at home with your books, but then you step outside into the shop or the street, and your brain feels tired because it is doing too much work. You worry about making a choice, and you worry about the grammar, and in that second of doubt, the English just disappears.
Exactly. It felt like a test I wasn't ready for. And that is why today's episode is so important. We are talking about how to make decisions and mastering 3 small words that often create big confusion: either, neither, and rather. We want to help you move away from book English and start using life English, the kind of English that feels human, natural, and kind.
I love that. And friends, before we dive into our magic words for today, we have a small friendly request. If this podcast helps you feel even a little more understood or confident, please subscribe to English Podcasters and click the like button. It really helps our family of learners grow, and it tells us that you want more lessons that help you speak from the heart.
So, Maya, let's start with the basics. I think many beginners find either and neither confusing because they look so similar. How do we feel the difference?
That's the perfect way to ask it, not what is the rule, but how do we feel it? Let's start with the word either. In life English, either has 2 main jobs. The first job is when we want to agree with a negative sentence. For example, if you say, I don't like coffee, and I want to agree, I say, I don't like coffee either.
Oh, I see. So, either, in this case, means also not.
Exactly! It's the partner of to, but for negative sentences. If the sentence is positive, like I like pizza, you say to, but if it's negative, you use either.
I hear many learners say, I don't like it too.
Yes, and every English teacher feels a small pain inside when they hear that. Remember, positive equals to, negative equals either. Let's practice. If I say, I'm not tired, what do you say?
I'm not tired either.
Perfect. And if I say, I can't swim?
I can't either.
See how natural that sounds? You are showing the other person that you understand their feeling. Now, let's talk about the second job of either. This is the decision job. We use either to talk about a choice between 2 options. Imagine I ask, do you want to watch a movie or go for a walk?
If I don't care which one we do, I can say, either is fine.
Exactly. It means option A is okay, and option B is okay too. It shows you are flexible and relaxed.
Either is fine. That is a very useful phrase for avoiding stress during a decision. But Maya, what about today's second word? Neither.
Neither is like the stronger cousin of either. It is used when you want to reject both options. It means not this one and not that one. 0.
So, if you ask croissant or muffin, and I want neither of them, I just say neither, thank you.
Perfect. It is a clear and confident way to say no to both choices. But here is where it gets a little bit advanced for our beginner friends. Neither can also be used to agree with a negative sentence, just like either, but the structure changes.
Ah, like when someone says, I don't like horror movies, and the other person says, neither do I.
Exactly. Neither comes at the beginning of the sentence, and then we invert the verb. This sounds very fluent and natural. Instead of, I don't either, you say, neither do I.
Neither do I. Neither am I. Neither can I. It feels like a pattern.
English loves patterns, Leo. If you're a beginner, it is 100% okay to use either at the end, it's easier. But when you feel braver, try, neither do I.
Maya, let's talk about a mistake I see a lot. People say, I don't want neither.
Oof, the double negative. Friends, please listen carefully. In English, we usually avoid using two negatives together. Since neither is already negative, you don't need don't. So, you say, I want neither, or I don't want either.
I see. One negative is enough. Choosing one makes your English clearer.
Precisely. Now, let's move to our third word, which is my personal favorite, rather.
Oh, I like this one too. It sounds very thoughtful. What does it actually mean?
Rather is the word we use for preference. It is used when you have a specific choice in your heart. We usually use it with would. So we say, I would rather, or, even more naturally, I'd rather.
So, if you ask me, do you want tea or coffee? And I really want coffee, I say, I'd rather have coffee.
Perfect. It sounds polite, honest, and very natural. It is much softer than saying, I want coffee.
I noticed a pattern here with the structure. Do we say, I'd rather to go?
Great question, Leo. No, we do not. After would rather, we use the base verb, the simple form. So, you say, I'd rather stay home, not, I'd rather to stay.
I'd rather stay. I'd rather eat. I'd rather sleep.
You've got it. Now, let's try a little role play for our listeners, so they can hear all three words working together in a real decision-making moment. Imagine we are two friends trying to choose what to do for dinner. Leo, you start.
Okay. Maya, are you hungry? Do you want to cook at home or order fast food?
Either sounds good to me, honestly. I just want to relax.
Really? I'm a bit tired of fast food. I don't want a burger either.
I understand. I don't want pizza either. In that case, neither option is great.
Exactly. I think I'd rather eat something healthy. Should we make a salad?
That sounds perfect. Let's do it.
See? That conversation felt so real. We used either to show flexibility, neither to reject the bad options, and rather to show what we actually wanted.
And did you notice, friends, that Leo's English sounded very natural? Because he used these connecting words instead of repeating full robotic sentences. Using these words helps your stories flow and makes you sound more like a native speaker.
Maya, let's talk about the mindset of making decisions in English. Many of our friends listening feel a fear monster when they have to choose a word quickly. They stay silent because they don't want to say something wrong.
Oh, I know that quiet pain. But friends, please hear me. Your English does not need permission to exist. You don't need to be perfect to make a decision. Mistakes are your best teachers. If you go to a shop and say, I would rather to have tea, the shopkeeper will still understand your story. Communication is a bridge, not an exam.
I agree. Having an accent or a shaking voice just means you are brave enough to speak more than one language that is a superpower. Instead of thinking, my English is bad, try saying, my English is improving every day. That small change in your self-talk removes the heavy pressure to be perfect.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about tone. Did you notice how Leo said, I'd rather stay dry in the role play? The way you say these words shows your attitude.
Yes. If I say either is fine with a smile, it sounds very kind and helpful. But if I say neither with a serious face, it shows I am being very firm about my choice.
These words give you control in a conversation. They allow you to show your personality and your feelings without needing big, scary vocabulary.
Maya, what happens when someone speaks too fast and asks for a decision? That is a big fear for many of our friends listening.
Remember, you have the power to slow the conversation down. You can always say, sorry, I didn't catch that. Can you say it again? Or, if you need time to think, use a listening phrase like, let me see, or, that's an interesting question. This gives your brain time to wake up the sleeping English inside.
Sleeping English. I love that. It means the words are already there, They just need a little bit of warmth and practice to come out.
Now, friends, if you are having a flat day, a day where English feels like a heavy mountain, and you feel like you aren't progressing at all, please listen to this. You are allowed to be tired, but please don't quit. Progress is not a straight line. Some days you feel like a conversation magician, and some days you feel like you can't even remember your own name in English. Both are normal.
On your hardest days, don't run, just don't stop. Even saying one simple decision sentence today, like, "I'd rather have tea," is a victory for your future.
Let's quickly touch on pronunciation, because I know our listeners care about sounding natural. Leo, how do you say either?
I usually say either.
And I sometimes say either. Friends, both are 100% correct. American English and British English use both. The same is true for neither or neither. Just choose the one that feels most comfortable for your mouth and stay consistent.
Comfortable for your mouth. That makes learning feel so much more friendly.
It truly is. We are so incredibly proud of you for staying with us until the end of this episode. It shows you are dedicated to your story and your voice. Your voice matters, even if it shakes.
Now, we have a small challenge for you, an English Podcasters Challenge. In the comments below, tell us about a small decision you made today.
Use one of our magic words. For example, I had to choose between tea or coffee, and either was fine. Or, I would rather study English than watch TV tonight.
We read every single comment, and we smile because every sentence you write is a sign of your small courage. Your journey is unique, and we are so happy to be walking it with you.
Take small steps. Use your soft words. Don't be afraid of the mistakes, and don't be afraid of the silence. You are closer than you think, and you are doing better than you realize.
We'll see you in the next episode of English Podcasters. Keep speaking, keep growing, and always remember, even a whisper counts as a victory.
Bye-bye, everyone. Have a wonderful, brave day.
Bye. Remember, you are becoming an English speaker one word at a time.